And welcome in, everybody, to the 2023 Ultimate Soccer preview of the Canadian Championship. We've got 6 games to go through. We're going to give you 6 predictions. And during the course of it, please make a comment down below. Tell me what you're thinking. Who's your eventual winner and why? Who you want to see win? And what part of the country are you cheering from? It's really nice now to get everybody together. I've been covering Canadian soccer for 20 years. My first ever announcing of a professional game was a Canadian international game at Commonwealth Stadium as a World Cup qualifier. So I've been in the Canadian picture for many years. So please tell us where you're from in Canada, who you cheer for. And I can imagine that people like Nathan Vaughan are cheering for Pacific FC right now, no doubt about it. Sean Clark is probably cheering for Cavalry FC. I can imagine David Powell is too. Yeah, so tell me where you're from. What's your name? What club you're with? Why you're with that club, what you love about your CPL club, Canadian Premier League club, and what you love about the Canadian Championship. So we're all one big family. Remember, like, subscribe and like. Get into this with us, and you'll have a lot of fun. We've got people with us from all over the world on this channel. Our recent guy signing in right now is Matt from Australia. Hello, Matt. How you doing? Having a great time? I bet he's down there on the south coast. I wonder, are you on the south coast of Australia, Matt? Because if you are, you're probably getting ready for the 2023 Women's World Cup, where Canada is going to be playing. Hopefully we do well. It's going to be a tough one, that is. We're not really sort of on fire right now, but I'm sure the ladies will get there and be ready for it. Now, Canadian Championship 2023. Current champions, who are they? Vancouver Whitecaps. Who's won the most titles? Toronto FC. Then it's CF Montreal with 5. And current champions, Vancouver Whitecaps, with 2. Who's your top scorer on the competition all time? Have a think about that for a second. Who is the top scorer all time? It's got to be one of them big 3 because they've won the title. You'd be right with that one. It's the big one. Toronto FC, it's Jonathan Osorio with 7 goals. That's pretty decent. 7 goals. Now, what's up for grabs? And hello to everybody in Wrexham, by the way. Hope you're interested in the Canadian Championship and you're learning along. Remember, guys, we're multinational on this channel. Everybody from everywhere. We're all one. One is all we are. Now, up for grabs on the title. The trophy for the 2023 Canadian Championship is the same for every Canadian Championship. It's the Voyageurs Cup. The Voyageurs Cup was donated to the CSA pretty much to give to the winning team of the competition. So that's where that comes from. That's why the Voyageurs have such a real tight link is not the word. I'd say bond with the national setup. The Voyageurs are really in there tight, like a real ultra group with a... Give you an example, a South American soccer group, let's say Boca Juniors. The Ultras are like in there and they tell the club what they like to see happen. In some terms, the Voyageurs do the same. Anyway, the Voyageurs Cup is given to the winning team, so big up to the Voyageurs, all the years they've been around. And they were in the Qatar 2022 World Cup recently supporting Canada, and there was thousands out there. Big up to the Voyageurs, big up to the Voyageurs. But the Voyageurs Cup is one thing, and then the other thing is the winner of the tournament, the Canadian Championship, gets a berth in next year's CONCACAF Champions League. So there's 2 trophies there, but the CONCACAF Champions League trophy, it's not a trophy, it's a berth. The Voyageurs Cup is a trophy. So you get the trophy, but you also get entered into next year's CONCACAF Champions League. Pretty decent. Now, we've got 6 games to get into, and I'm going to give you 6 predictions. Do me a favor, drop down your predictions, let me know what your predictions are. And remember, I want to hear from you. What's your club? Where you're from? What's your name? And why you haven't subscribed already? Get in it. Subscribe, like, and share it around. Now, the first game we're talking about is the one right in front of me all this while. Forge taking on Laval. Laval's a hotbed, a little hotbed of soccer, and this wouldn't be the biggest upset in all time, but it certainly would be an upset if Laval takes out Forge. Forge had a nice, interesting game on the weekend with Cavalry. They're looking okay. They're sort of getting into their shape. And I think that when you look at this one, you have to think that Forge is definitely going to move through on this one. I'd like to see an upset. Not that I've got anything against the Forge. Don't hate me, Forge fans. But I love the cup competition for David and Goliath. This one is David and Goliath. David is definitely Laval. Goliath is definitely Forge FC. I'm looking for Forge FC to go through. Tell me what you think. Next game up, Montreal taking on Vaughan Azzurri. Let's get into that one. Montreal taking on Vaughan Azzurri. I got to tell you, you really You can only think of one outcome here. It's Montreal. If this is a Vaughan win, it's an absolute shock of all time. No disrespect to Vaughan Azzurri. No disrespect to you guys at all. I know what your setup's all about. You do a fine job. By the way, get a new logo. Get someone to get a new logo on that. That is so national team. It's not even funny. It's not even good to look at, guys. Come on. I know what it's all about. I get it. I know the links. I know the connections. I know. But get someone to get you a new logo. Just saying. But on the day, I wish you well. I'd love to see you take out Montreal. I really would. Not that I've got anything against Montreal, but remember, David and Goliath. I love the upsets. I love the cup competitions. And if Vaughan do take out CF Montreal, then it is a David and Goliath slaying. Take Montreal to win it, no doubt about it. I can't see it going any other way. I'd love it to, but I can't. But please get another logo. Next up, Wanderers Halifax taking on Atletico Ottawa. These guys played each other on the weekend, and it was quite a good test. One apiece. Ottawa were at home. Halifax were away. It's now reversed. Halifax are the home team taking on Ottawa. You got to think that Ottawa's the team to take on this, but for a couple of reasons. We don't have to talk about Ottawa too long. You know what they do. They soak up the pressure, they counter, they win. Boom. They did it all last year, and it wasn't a shocker. You got used to it, but people are now used to it, and now they're not so dumb to it. They're smart to it, and they know how to play with it or play against it. I think Halifax has come a long way since last year. You saw all through last year how that team was really improving. It's too bad that Stevie got the sack, but the team was improving. The only thing they didn't have was offense or finishing touch or finishing quality. If they can get that over the line this year, the finishing quality, I think that Halifax has a decent season. I really do. If they can put the balls in the back of the net, they've got pretty much everything else. In fact, they've got a great crowd behind them. There's no reason why they can't win this one. Get behind your team and go nuts, Halifax, and go really out your bazonka's brains and go nuts for your team for 90 minutes and help them along. Be that 12th man. I think you might see Ottawa be under pressure, and you might well see Halifax get the win. You should be looking for Ottawa to win it. I'm hoping that Halifax can really now start to perform to the levels that I think they can. Take Ottawa, but I'm hoping Halifax can pull this off 2-1. Next game up, York United taking on Vancouver FC. York United didn't have a great game on the weekend, and they might not have the fantastic game they're looking for here. I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with new boys Vancouver FC. They didn't score against Pacific FC, but a lot of what they did do was great defensive teamwork. They're a top-heavy team or a bottom-heavy team, whichever way you look at it. Top-heavy is that they can't get it done in front of net at the moment. They were close. Bottom-heavy is they're stacked in defence as a team, so they're playing more defensive than they are as the offence. I tell you, the coach has got them really well organised on the defensive lines, cutting out the passing lanes and killing the passing channels as well. He's doing a fantastic job. You can see that they're organised and structured. I would see that this team will progress and improve through the season. I'm thinking by maybe the 10th game in, you'll start to see things change. For this one, though, I've got to say York United should have enough in the tank and enough on the field. And the unity that they've had so far over the last few seasons will be enough to get this one over the line. York has a team, and Vancouver FC is still building a team. By the way, big up to the Vancouver FC fans on the weekend that travelled to Pacific FC. Very, very impressive indeed. Let's take a look at the next match, which is TSS Rovers taking on VALOUR. Now, that's going to be an interesting one. David and Goliath, another one. TSS Rovers taking on VALOUR FC. On the weekend, I was very, very, very impressed with VALOUR FC. And before the weekend, I was looking at this game thinking to myself, you know, VALOUR FC was improving much so in the last half of the season that they only just missed out on the playoffs, right? Remember? Well, you do now. Anyway, they played up in the second half of the season and started to really come together and, like I say, became a good team. They've carried that through from what I can see, because the game on the weekend, they really dominated in the 2-0 victory, absolutely dominated the 2-0 victory. And you got to say, coming into this game, I'm looking at them in a different way. They won strongly on the road. Now they're coming at TSS Rovers. This is David and Goliath. TSS Rovers at home with everything home cooking, nowhere to travel, everything easy, getting ready for it. If they play the game of their lives, they could pull off a result. I hope they can. I hope little David can do it. Come on, TSS Rovers. Make some history. I hope you can. But you're up against it. VALOUR FC is a really well-organised and well-drilled team right now. I got to say, I'm looking for VALOUR to win it, but I'd love to see TSS Rovers to take it out. I really would. Pull it off, guys. I think you make history, and it'll be absolutely wonderful. But sadly, I'm not putting you down. I'm pulling for you. I think you're going to see Valour just be a little bit too strong. Finally, let's take a look at Pacific FC taking on Cavalry FC. Well, Nathan Faban on the West Coast and all you fans on the West Coast, I hope you're getting ready for this one. You know that I'm obviously connected to Cavalry FC because of locality geography. If I was closer to any other team, I'd be located and I'd be linked to that team too. So it's just a matter of living where I live, closest to Calgary. I don't live close to Calgary, but it's the closest team to me, so I travel to them. But I've been to other places to watch games too. But on this one, Pacific FC taking on Cavalry FC. I liked what I saw on the weekend with Pacific FC. James Merriman has got the team well oiled and grilled and drilled together. Not a problem there. Very tricky game against Vancouver FC. Only the 1-0 win, and it could have been a different game altogether, but they ploughed through and got through. And that well-drilled, organised team that James Merriman has put together is still very much evidently in place and very much in control of games. So looking at this one, I say Pacific FC, are coming into this game at the right pace, and they've shown for my take their hands so far as to be ready for the season. Cavalry coming in off a decent game against Forge FC on the road. Twice they took the lead, but twice they couldn't hold it. The first lead lasted about 5 minutes, and the second lead lasted about 12 minutes. So they lost the lead early first quite quickly and held it a little bit longer in the second phase. If they do get the lead at Pacific, you're asking yourself, can they hold the lead? That's the question right now. I do like a lot of what I saw with Cavalry FC, especially with some of the new players coming in. Jesse Daly got blooded for 34 minutes. He did very well. One real beautiful part about Cavalry FC is to see Fraser Aird get into the game after such a horrific knee injury. He got 6 minutes on the week. And I tell you, he's a very experienced player. He's been around for many big teams, including Glasgow Rangers as well. So things that I saw with Cavalry FC lead me to believe that Coach Tommy Wheeldon Jr. has really got that team organised again. It's up top where they need to get it done. Maya Bevan got one straight off the bat, so he's off the mark for the season. Really, really striking finish, like a bicycle kick going sideways. So Bevan's off the mark, but Michael Cantave struck an absolute lightning bolt for the second goal. I think you'd have to look far and wide to see a better goal scored anywhere in the world. If you haven't seen it, go online. Michael Cantave, Cavalry FC, scoring on Forge FC. 2-1 was the stage of the game when he scored. Check that goal. It's absolutely magic. On this game, it could go either way. It really could. If it was a league game, I think you'd be looking for a draw. Because it's a cup game, and because Pacific are at home, I think you have to think that they are the favourite to take this one. If it's a scoreline, it's probably going to be a squeaking 1-0 or possibly a 2-1 and the reverse. If Cavalry do win on the road, I think it's just by the goal. I don't see any blowouts. These teams really sit very even. They always have done. And it's just like when Forge play Cavalry, there's really no squeaking room. Hence, the last game they played was a 2-2 tie. One goal either way, that's all it's going to be. But I think Cavalry is probably the guys that are probably going to be looking on the outside, from the outside, once Pacific move through after they score that one important goal, or they get that one mistake and capitalise on it. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a very tight game. Okay, guys, take it in. Enjoy it. Let me know what you're thinking about the games, where you're from, who's your team, what's your name, who you think is going to win it, and literally enjoy the competition, get into it. And one thing, do us a favour at Ultimate Soccer, like, subscribe, like, have fun with it, and listen, join us, have fun. One is all we are all one. Okay, have a great time with the games. Have a real good time with the games. I hope your team wins. I really do, but it can only be one. Cheers.
This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.